Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is WillPower and Tony Snap. Today, we have a good one going for you guys. We're going to talk about where do we pick pitchers and what drafting position, not position or ranking, right? Where do we actually pick these pitchers up? And we're going to talk about relievers and who would you sit on the special edition with. We're going to start with Will, right? How you guys doing today, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
We're chilling. It's not that cold. Yeah. Not as cold as it is in Texas, right? So, I mean, we're lucky. So let's get started, man. Where do we start with? Where do we start drafting pitchers? Do we start drafting them in the first round, second round, or do we go by whatever the other players are doing? Like, let's say I'm the first round and I'm before you guys. I'm in number 6, and I go ahead and pick DeGrom. Did you guys start panicking? Or do you guys just go with what the rankings are?
Go ahead, Tony.
So I'm actually looking for pitching in the first round. I will probably pick up Cole if DeGrom's already taken. But if
so look, like I'm number 6 and I pick up DeGrom, and I'm thinking DeGrom he's going to go a little bit earlier probably because on Fantasy Pros it has him at 7, right? The ADP, but then you have ESPN has him gone on the first, that's the first pick, right? So if I pick him, do you automatically think, oh, I need to pick up pitching, or does it depend on the standings on the rankings?
I think it depends on your style of drafting. But me personally, I like to go pitcher heavy sometimes. I want at least 1. If I can get 2, even better. But my mock drafts have normally been like DeGrom and like Bueller, or then like DeGrom and like.
So you're picking DeGrom all the time.
yeah. I've been picking them up a lot just to get the feel of it. Like what if I end up like 6, 7, 8, that's probably where I would like to pick them up, because more than likely Trout's going to be gone, Soto's going to be gone. As far as like where do you pick pitchers up, I mean it's a position that's always valuable, so you should be picking them up wherever you can get them, but you still try to be kind of I guess balanced throughout the whole team.
Yeah.
But I mean, pitchers should be going throughout the rounds. Maybe there's a few rounds you can take off just because of the pool. Maybe I would say like around. Let me see.
Will, are you agree
it's
with
weird
anything that Tony's saying? Like,
I think that Tony and I have different strategies when it comes to starting pitching.
Yeah.
So, if I have a pick 1 through 5, I'm not picking a pitcher. I feel like those hitters are just so elite that they're too valuable to pass up.
Yeah.
But if I have 6 or later, if DeGrom or Garrett Cole are still available, I'm definitely getting one of those guys. If neither of them are there and I'm forced to pick up a hitter, because I'm not going to go all the way down to Trevor Bauer in the first round,
Yeah, not like the first chance.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Trey Turner, Jose Ramirez, Christian Yelich, one of those. Probably not Ramirez, actually. I have him downgraded a little bit just because I don't trust him as much as other people do. But Freddie Freeman, for sure. I would definitely take Freddie Freeman over Trevor Bauer. I might even take Freddie Freeman over Garrett Cole or DeGrom.
Wow.
That's like a draft time decision, man.
It's so hard.
It depends where you're picking at, right? You can't just go ahead and be like, oh, if you go the first, like you said, the first 5, you have Soto, you have Betts, you have all these power hitters, right? And then you have DeGrom. What is he? Like I said, and some of them he's a number 1, and then ESPN has him as a number 1, and then Fantasy Pros has him at number 7, right? So and then you have Garrett Cole number 8. So would you pick them over Trevor Story? Because Trevor Story is number 9.
Yes. I would, only because when you look at like the top 5, you have Acuna, Betts, Tatis, Soto, and Trout. I think that those guys are just a step above pretty much every other hitter. Freeman could also kind of be like in that mix also, but are we going to see 2019 Freeman or are we going to see, 2017 Freeman? So that one, I'm probably going to take a pitcher before I take Freeman. But like I said, it's in the moment type of decision who I'm really looking at. When it goes to the rest of the draft, if I don't get Garrett Cole or DeGrom, I'm definitely getting a pitcher with my second pick. There's a lot of pitchers that you can get in round 2 and some of round 3. Trevor Bauer, Yu Darvish, Buehler, Giolito, Nola, Scherzer, Flaherty, Kershaw, Luis Castillo, like all those guys, they're very comparable to each other. They're just as valuable as one another. At the end of the season, there's definitely going to be, some that are that have excelled, and then some that kind of like lacked a little bit in that section of pitchers. But preseason rankings, I think they're all pretty much around the same tier. If I get a pitcher in the first round, I'm definitely not going to draft a pitcher for a while, though. Because if I'm missing out on one of those elite hitters, I'm going to try to go, at least round 2, 3, and 4, an elite hitter. Unless there's a pitcher that comes up that just he's clear cut better than all the hitters that are still available. But that's usually my general strategy. Like I try to pick up at least one of those like real elite starting pitchers, and then I'll go hitters for a few rounds.
I got you. So you can go. Go ahead.
Pretty much throughout the whole draft, you can get good pitchers anywhere up until probably like round 12 or so. So the first like 10, 11, 12 rounds, you can pick up really good starting pitching. That's when it kind of like really starts to fall off, though. Okay.
So then you just want to have make sure you have an ace. You're that's what you're saying. You're saying, okay,
exactly. You need an ace on your team, and you can go as far down as like, a Blake Snell, who's going number 45 overall.
Mm-hmm.
So 45, what's that? Like round 4?
Round 4.
So you definitely want to get at least one elite starting pitcher by round 4, I would say.
Not bad. Do you agree with that, Tony? Or
you definitely need at least one starting pitcher.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's good, man, because I know I've done 2 pitchers, maybe even 3 at the beginning of the of the draft, and I know like a lot of people are shaking their head and like, why are you doing that? The reason I do that is because I feel like I can win with pitching and not so much with hitting, but it depends on what league you're playing in, right?
Yeah.
If pitching has more points, of course you're gonna pick more pitching up, but you got to look at your points, your point system. So going on with the pitching theme, relievers, where do you pick the relievers up? And Will, like you just mentioned not too long ago, there's not really that many elite relievers, right? Which are closers.
Yeah. I mean, each team, the closer changes almost every single season. There's guys that are legit closers like Chapman, like Liam Hendricks, what used to be like Craig Kimbrel, but we've seen what happens to guys like Craig Kimbrel or
Edwin Diaz.
Great example right there. Kenley Jansen, right?
Yeah.
He's probably not going to be the closer for the Dodgers anymore. He has good numbers at the end of the season. The season numbers look good, but if you look at his whip, man, his whip is so high. He loads the bases way too often, and in a
gives us a heart
league,
attack.
Yeah, exactly. You give up a hit, that's a -1. And if he, gets a strikeout, it balances out, but it's down to 0. If he gets the save, great. That's 3 or 5 points, depending on your scoring system. But then if he allows 3 hits and no Ks, and then he gets the save, it's a big 0. So guys like that, I try to stay away from. There's one term that a lot of people use in the fantasy baseball world, which is SPARP, which is a starting pitcher and reliever pitcher eligible. Mm-hmm. So I try to focus more on those guys if there's a reliever position available in the league. Guys like Kenta Maeda, super valuable. You can just slot him in your relief spot rather than having him as a starting pitcher and then going later on in the draft and picking up a reliever. If you go after guys like Josh Hader, that's a great relief pitcher to get. But I still think that Kenta Maeda is going to be more valuable than Josh Hader.
Yeah, he's definitely
spot.
I got you.
Yeah. I agree everything with what Will said. Kenta Maeda is a very solid option. Definitely going around the same draft pick or round. I want to kind of just go off of what Will was saying with Kenta Maeda being also available as a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher. I'm looking at either Kenta Maeda or Carlos Carrasco, who is also eligible at the relief pitcher position.
Mm-hmm.
And he's with the Mets, so we know they're gonna get like some type of run security. I feel like that's what they were lacking for DeGrom in the past years. So hopefully, with the new pickups that they have, it's a lot more defense and also offense. So Carlos Carrasco, I'm looking at him. He's going around 75, almost around the same area where Aroldis Chapman is going, who is now, we believe, maybe suspended. So that's also a good option where you could just put him in as a relief pitcher instead of picking up somewhere like Aroldis Chapman, where he's going to be missing a few games.
Gotcha. And that says 30 games, right? I believe it's 30 game suspension.
Yeah.
So he's a good pick. He's not going to go at his normal ADP because you're going to miss out on the first 30 days of all the points he's going to get for you. But when you make it to the playoffs, that's the guy that's really going to help you out. Exactly. So he comes at a little bit of a discount, but don't let him slip too far or else you're going to miss out on the chance for him.
Yeah.
And people that don't know that he's suspended, I'm pretty sure they're going to draft him pretty high, right?
Yeah. Justin Verlander is going to get drafted. Chris Sale is going to get drafted. There's a lot of pitchers that aren't even going to pick up a ball this season that are still going to get drafted. It's either auto picks or guys just don't really do their research, that don't know what they're doing. And then there's other pitchers also that are on a pitch count, like Luis Severino. He's supposed to come back to pitch for the Yankees this season, but he just finished recovering from Tommy John surgery. So how many innings is he going to pitch? Normally, you want a pitcher to be as close to 200 innings as possible. A starting pitcher to go close to 200 innings.
I got you.
200 Ks would be amazing. But because of his recent surgery and rehab, he's probably only going to be able to pitch 120, like max. With the Yankees, they're probably going to save him for the end of the season. They're not going to. I would assume that they would have him in the bullpen for the beginning of the season, see how he kind of plays out, get his arm kind of up to speed, get the strength up, and then maybe towards the end of the season, if they need a starting pitcher, then throw him in, as either a starting pitcher to try to go 5 or 6 innings, or maybe even just as an opener and just go 1 or 2 innings just in the beginning of the game and start it off.
Just to start it off, like a lot of teams been doing that a lot lately, like where they just throw them in like for an inning or two. They did that in the playoffs a lot this 2020 season, right?
Yeah, the Rays do that a lot.
Yeah,
they're the ones that started it.
Yeah, so I don't know why Blake Snell got mad. So, I mean, they were doing that all season, right? One thing that we were talking about, Will, you said the reliever, right? The reliever will be kind of, you can slot in the starter. Of course, they have to have the starting and they have to have the relieving. And they're going off. Yeah. So are they going off of the 2019 or 2020?
Yeah. So Yahoo, it depends on which site that you guys use for your fantasy leagues.
Yeah, where you're drafting.
Yeah. But Yahoo is using the 2019 eligibility for the 2021 season.
Gotcha.
And it really makes sense. It's the best thing, honestly, just because 2020 wasn't even half a season. We barely saw these guys. Usually, I want to say it's like they have to have at least 12 appearances in a different position to be able to be eligible for that the following season. But I mean, out of 60 games, a lot of players don't really have the opportunity to play other positions like that.
Dude, I just want to say, like, when you start drafting live, right? Let's say you get together and you do a draft, and of course you can do that, but you have to maintain social distancing and all that stuff, right? But I remember doing a draft on the phone. Oh my God, how hard it was. Like the peer pressure, like, because you only have 1 minute and it's really timed. And you're like, who do I pick? I remember I picked up a guy that was already retired.
Oh no!
And they still have him in the draft. So I suggest that someone pay, like, if you're gonna play fantasy baseball, make sure you guys understand that there's players in there still that are not even playing or not even signing with a team yet. So pay attention to that, because they don't do that. They don't put that, oh, he's injured or he's suspended or whatever. Nah, they don't do none of that.
I also kind of want to add, if you are going to be playing on your phone, don't forget to have a charger, because I one time decided I was going to join a league, and I was like, oh, just do it on my phone, it's cool, and
with 17% battery left,
dude, it was probably I want to say like probably around maybe like 14, so kind of like in the nitty gritty, where you and I ended up, I think, with like 3 or 4 relief pitchers, really good relief pitchers, but I ended up with all of them, and it was so hard to try to trade them off. Like nobody wanted them, and I was just like, I can't let them go, like they're good, but like I had to like sell them at a discount to get rid of them. So definitely bring a charger if you're playing on your phone or you're going to be doing traveling. The best way to do it is probably on a laptop.
Cool. Yeah.
And make sure your Wi-Fi is strong.
Yeah.
You don't want to get kicked out of the draft room when you have 10 seconds left.
Now you have to do it on strong Wi-Fi, or else you can't play, because you're gonna get thrown off, and then you're gonna be like starting on round 1. You're gonna miss round 1.
Yeah, that's happened to me before.
Really?
I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. We all went to Buffalo Wild Wings to go do the draft one time, and I was linked into the Buffalo Wild Wings Wi-Fi because at the time I was with Sprint, and on the West Coast, Sprint sucks, dude. So I logged into their Wi-Fi, and then it kicked me out, and then I had no Sprint coverage, so it logged me out, and I think I wound up with actually a pretty decent player, so I wasn't like too pissed off, but I I went to go do the rest of the draft outside. Just so I can get my regular cell service instead of the Wi-Fi.
I know, and it takes a while.
Well, let's keep it rolling, man. Let's go to the next segment. This segment is a special segment, and then who would you sit? And Tony went first in the last show, and he kind of got quiet for a little bit, but then he came through, right, Tony? So, Will, are you ready for this one, or?
I'll try to be.
All right, man. So this one's the same category. We're gonna go with pitchers, since it's a pitcher show. We have three pitchers, and you have to sit one of them. All right, and these pitchers are pretty top pitchers, man. I don't know if it's hard, but I'm gonna give you the names. First name is Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, and the last one, Shane Bieber. Who would you sit?
I'm sitting Shane Bieber for sure.
Shane Bieber, straight. Yeah. That was quick, man.
I trust deGrom and Cole so much more than I trust a guy that's only been in the league for a year and a half.
Yeah.
All right. So let me try to rearrange the question then. What about if it's the first month of baseball?
I'd still sit Bieber.
Still Bieber?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. He doesn't have the consistency that Tony and I are always talking about.
Yeah.
When you see deGrom and Cole, these guys have been in the league for more than 7-8 years, something like that. And then you see Shane Bieber. He's a really young, really good starting pitcher. He's an ace for sure. He's what the Indians need, especially after the Clevenger trade and everything. But I can't even go off a 2020 season, man, because he only pitched in the Central. So he was facing good lineups like the White Sox and the Twins. But other than that, there was really no other really good lineups that he was facing. He was facing a lot of the Brewers, a lot of the Cardinals, a lot of the Pirates, the Cubs, who really only have like a couple good hitters. Javier Baez had a really down season last year. I don't trust him as much as all these other experts do.
So it was too easy, man. I think that was too easy for you. Yeah.
Let me throw you guys a curveball.
Yeah, we'll throw a curveball.
Who would you guys sit? We're gonna do first basemen.
Oh, what?
Okay.
Pete Alonso, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., or Luke Voigt.
Oh.
They're all going around the same. Pete Alonso going 53. 54 going Guerrero or Luke Voigt going at 55.
I'm sitting Guerrero down.
Yeah, I'm sitting Guerrero.
Yeah. I can't do Luke Voigt, and I can't. And
that was pretty easy too. Then never mind.
I'll give you guys.
All right, see you guys
give us one. Give us one, Will.
All right, this is only going to be 2 players. You start one, you bench one. Garrett Cole or DeGrom?
DeGrom.
It's the same thing.
That's a lot harder.
Nah, I'll go with DeGrom straight up.
You can't go wrong though. I think
you know why? No, yes, you can, because this is why I asked Will, and I kind of rearranged the question, because Garrett Cole has, I guess when the season starts, his record doesn't show all those great numbers.
He starts off slow.
He starts off slow. So if this is the beginning of the season, and I have DeGrom and I have Garrett Cole, I'm gonna go DeGrom straight up. I'm not gonna get Cole. Only because he's really good. He picks it up at the end of the season. So
now, are you basing that off of just 2020, or are you going before that too?
I'm going before that. Even when he was with the Pirates, you saw that with the Pirates. He was good with the Pirates, but he picked it up at the end of the season. He didn't pick it up at the beginning, and then he did that last year, and he did that the year before with the Astros. He had like a couple of rocky starts at the beginning of the season, and then he just picked it up. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna have a big effect, but yeah, I'm just going DeGrom straight up because I've been picking them. Like I said in one of these shows, I said that I picked them up 7th in the first round. So, yeah, and he's going 7th this year, so I might get 7 again. He might be in my team. Any other picks? Who would you sit? Any?
All right, let's do relief pitchers.
Relief pitchers, all right.
Edwin Diaz, Kenley Jansen, or Brad Hand.
Hand was pretty good.
I would start Hand.
Yeah.
I'd have to sit Kenley Jansen, man.
I feel like some of these we have to like add like situations, or something like that.
Too.
Like World Series. Game 7.
I just think I think Dave Roberts has finally come to terms, and he knows that Kenley Jansen is just not the 9th inning guy anymore.
He's not,
and he Dave Roberts has other arms at his disposal now. He got Brandon Morrow back, right? The guy that helped us in the playoffs a few years ago. Yep. We also got Corey Knebel from the Brewers, and
Evil Knievel.
What's the dude that used to be on the A's?
The A's.
Blake Trinan.
Blake Trinan. There you go.
Yeah.
We have all these like amazing arms that are at his disposal right now that you don't have to rely on Kenley Jansen anymore. You also have Dustin May,
Bruce
Gonsolin. There's so many other options that Roberts has. But when you look at, the other hand with these other relievers, who do they really have in the bullpen that can kind of take over? Like Edwin Diaz, right? Who is he still on the Mets? He's still on the Mets, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So who in the bullpen can really take over for him as the closer? Really, there's no
like the follow-up guys, and that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier and during the whole like where you should be picking up players is mid-relief guys, man. I feel like that's like the new age of like playing baseball. The Dodgers do it. The Tampa Rays do it. And it looks like a lot of teams are kind of adapting. Like New York also does it too. Chad Green.
The Indians were the ones that started that trend. Do you remember when Andrew Miller was with the Indians? He was an amazing pitcher that could have been their closer, but because they already had, I think it was Brad Hand at the time.
Probably, yeah.
Then he came in 6th, 7th, and maybe even 8th inning, and he would pitch 2 or 3 dominant innings, and then you have Brad Hand come in and close out the game. A lot of teams are doing this now. The Brewers did it with the
Brewers do it a lot too.
Their current closer, Josh Hader,
Devin Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the Dodgers are doing it too with Gonsolin.
Yeah,
and they did it with Julio Urias too.
Yep. He ended up winning the World Series for us, closed it out. where you should have been putting. Not that you should have. No, we agree with you, Roberts. But you know what I mean. Like normally where he probably would have put in Jensen there, he went with Julio, and dude, it paid off.
Yeah,
and
man.
and it looks like the trend is going that way.
You know what's crazy? You guys just mentioned that the last World Series played have been close. Like I remember the highlights from pitchers throwing out like the last 3 innings. Remember Madison Bumgarner? He threw the last 3 innings to win the World Series. Chris Sale, remember? He did it with Boston. Scherzer did it, remember? So it's like if you don't do that, and if you don't throw your ace out there to close out the game, because it's a big intensity, and like I mean, there wasn't a lot of a crowd out there, but I guess because the pitcher's been out there and he's already warm and he's ready to go, he's gonna go out there and throw strikes every inning. Especially if he's a starter, he knows how to stop and go, meaning he knows he can go into the dugout and come back out. And a closer is not used to doing that. A closer is used to being just throwing for the 3 outs, not even going to sit down. Because if you have a closer that's gonna throw. Gonna have to close it in six outs. I don't think he'll be able to deliver that. I don't think I've seen the closer do that. I know Chapman. I think he did that with the Rays this past season, where he sat down and came back out, and look what happened. He gave up that home run, right?
He gave up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the theme.
Remember when Chapman was on the Cubs? They did the same thing. He would finish out the inning. I want to say he would get like the final out in the 8th, and then they brought him back in.
Oh yeah, and that's when Adrian Gonzalez hit that single up the middle to tie the game. I remember that. I remember that game. They brought him in for the 8th inning, and then he came back out.
And Chapman was mad. That's why he didn't resign with the Cubs. That's why he went elsewhere, because he didn't like how they utilized him. He wanted to be 9th inning, and that's it. He didn't want to come in and out.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to be a Yankee all along, though. Sure.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't want that Yankee money?
Yeah, that's a lot of money right there. The pinstripes.
Yeah, they make you shave off your facial hair.
Man, don't take us lightly, bro. Luxury tax.
Man.
What's that?
I would rather go to the Dodgers with the beard and just be there with the beard.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't want to shave off and go to the Yankees. But if the Yankees offer me money, why not? I mean, that's an elite team. It's like playing for the biggest team in the sport. So
hey, well, let's talk about that. Well, if you're leaving for money, Kershaw, do you think he signs with the Dodgers again, or does he leave to maybe like the Rangers for money? And
I don't think he's leaving for money. I think he's leaving more. If he does leave, I think he's going to leave more because he wants to be close to home, or wants to be home. He wants to play around. He did grow up in Arlington, right? So the stadium's not too far from where he lives. I think they mentioned when he was in the World Series, he would be able to go home or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know if the bubble allowed him, or if it was a bubble, right? But I don't think he leaves just like that. I think he will leave because he wants to be close to family. He doesn't want to, he already got his ring. He's been an MVP. He has a 2.48 ERA career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it really depends on how he does this season, because whoever offers him the best contract, I think that's where he's going to go. Not necessarily money wise, but the same thing like with Bryce Harper. He went where he had the longest contract offered to him, not necessarily the most money. He wants to be home. Everyone wants to be home, so you play half the games at your home ballpark. You want to be able to go and sleep at your own house after. And if he has a house in LA, or if he has a house, in Texas, or whatever team he signs with, I think that's going to be one of the deciding factors for him. And he seems like one of those guys that's like very loyal to his team. He got drafted by the Dodgers. He's been with the Dodgers his whole career. I think that he's probably going to just finish out his career with the Dodgers.
I would like it for that to happen. That will be legit. What do you think, Tony?
I think he should. I mean, I know a lot of Dodger fans have given him shit over the past few years, kind of just talking smack because of the way he produces during the playoffs. But I mean, dude, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. Um, if he finishes off his career as a Dodger, I think he even has a possibility of even making more of a like. I think he could probably break a few more records. I think he's like top 3 in like strikeouts in Dodgers, or you know what I mean. So he could probably still break some of those Dodger records, you know, and why wouldn't you want to be considered the best in the Dodgers? So
but
I hope he stays, you know.
It might not correct that decision.
Let me correct that ERA. It was a 2.43 career. So his down year is at 3.03. Like that's career for some of these pitchers. Yeah, exactly. Like you talk about some pitchers that like are coming in and they're like they have a 3 ERA. They're like, that's the worst Kershaw can pitch.
I think his downfall is he hasn't come close to 200 innings for a few seasons.
Yeah. But still, even though he doesn't come close to, well, because of the back injury, right? But I still think he's a Dodger legend. I think in our generation, he's going to be the top pitcher no matter what. No questions asked.
Honestly, like even if he wants to stay with the Dodgers, I think the question now is going to be, are the Dodgers going to want to pay him? Because they have so much money invested in other players right now.
And I don't think they'll offer him that contract.
Players. What's that?
You think he's going to be worth more money after this season?
Not more than what he's getting now, but they're already over the luxury tax. They also probably want to extend Corey Seager. They want to extend Cody Bellinger. They just extended Austin Barnes, which was a very small contract. It was only $4 million for 2 years. But that's still taking away money that they have in the future. They invested so much money in Trevor Bauer for the next 2 years. And Kershaw's a free agent after this season. So if they're still going to be paying Trevor Bauer $44 million in the 2022 season, then that's a lot of money that they're not going to have to go towards Kershaw's new contract. And then Bellinger, he's due for arbitration every year. If he has a great year, his arbitration money is going to go up. Mookie Betts is already locked in at a huge contract. Corey Seager's a free agent after this season. They just signed Justin Turner for $40 million. So
it's not that bad.
But the thing is, though,
look, they're going to... I just want to throw this out there. I honestly see the Dodgers unloading some of that salary cap for the 2021 season, 2022 season with kind of moving.
Price?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of moving that guy.
David Price.
Price.
I think they need to do that before the season starts.
No,
keep him right now. You're good.
yeah, he's been here. No, we want him. We want to see what he can do for him. Give us this year. We paid you for 2. You better give us 1 hell of a good season. All right.
Taking the season off. We don't know what kind of pitcher he's going to be, and I think his value is higher now than it probably will be at the trade deadline, unless he pitches amazing. Right.
That's why he's going to do. Dude, the Dodger defense is gonna keep his ERA low, which is gonna be attractive to other teams. Wait, don't. I mean, you know, every team should be gunning for him because he's the best pitcher out there, and they should probably pay the Dodgers cash money for him so we can offset some of this luxury tax. And
are you trying to sell him already, Tony? What are you trying to do over there, man?
But you know
you
what,
work for the Dodgers?
Even if they get rid of David Price, they're still over the luxury tax this season.
Yeah, even with him, even if they didn't sign Trevor Bauer, I think they were going to be over the luxury tax signing Turner. So they knew that going in.
They're $46 million over.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer's making $40 million this year. Coming into 2021, so that means that without the Trevor Bauer signing, they would have been $6 million over, which is still, it's over the luxury tax, but they're not going to have to pay as much as
You know what the Dodgers did back then with
they should just spend.
You remember Manny Ramirez? What they did, they gave him a big contract for 2 years, but they paid him in the span of 5 years. So they can be under the luxury tax. Maybe they're doing something like that with Trevor Bauer's contract, or they're probably doing something that with Justin Turner's contract. I mean, we don't know. yeah, the specifics are out already, but we don't know the entire thing. Maybe it's something worked out to that point, so where they do trade off David Price, and maybe they'll be under that luxury tax. Because everybody's been talking about that. Everybody's been saying that David Price is the one that's is an odd man out, right? So, I mean, maybe they have a contract working like that to where they don't have to worry about paying that luxury tax.
What do you think if they got rid of David Price and Kenley Jansen?
Yeah, Kenley Jansen's getting paid good money too.
There's a lot of other teams out there that would love to have a pitcher like Kenley Jansen. He just doesn't belong on such an elite team like the Dodgers, but he could be a closer on a bunch of other teams right now.
Yeah, like the Pirates. No.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or the Royals.
Pretty much, yeah. The Blue Jays.
The Royals will love.
But the Blue Jays already got the guy from the Padres. Yates.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so they don't need him, but he could be a solid closer somewhere else. Maybe it's not working out here. Like maybe Mark Pryor can't work with him like Rick Honeycutt was working with him, right?
See, and that's the thing. If the Dodgers get rid of those guys right there, that puts them probably like right at the luxury tax. That's about $40 million between the both of them.
That's true. I didn't think about that one. You just don't like Kenley Jansen anymore, huh?
I mean, who does? What Dodger fan does? In the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, I can't trust them. Yeah. What are you gonna say, Tony?
Well, I mean, I like him, but like high leverage situations, I think that's when you have to realize that he's not the guy.
Yeah, he's a good 8th inning setup guy.
He's a good 3-run guy. As soon as he gets you in trouble, get him out of there. Bruce Dahl, Gradadol, Julio Urias, those guys are really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, trade them off. I don't care.
Well, we're running out of time. But you guys have something else say real quick before we sign off, or we're good?
I mean, we were talking about pitchers, just to kind of go over that one more time. When you're doing the relief pitcher draft, definitely go after guys like Julio Urias, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin. I know those are all Dodgers, but those are all the ones that come to mind that have that starting pitcher and relief pitcher eligibility. Kenta Maeda. Those guys are much more valuable than a lot of the closers that are out there that are probably going to get you maybe 200 points throughout the season, where these other guys that have the dual eligibility, they're probably going to be in like the 250 to 300 range, and they're going to get you more points throughout the week. Also, they'll help you win your week more than a closer will.
Gotcha. Tony?
Yeah, just definitely do your homework on mid relief guys. Because there's a lot of good players out there that are going to get you some high strikeout rates. We're going to be probably pitching like 2 to 3 innings, and there's quite a few of them, and they're going relatively cheap.
So okay, cool. That's good advice. I'll take that.
Any questions? To realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com.
Thank you, Will. And if you want to go ahead and comment on our YouTube as well. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Power and Tony Snap. Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.